Hello pilots! Since I have shown many sorties on the BDF side in the meantime, it is once again the turn of Brawler to play. In this video I would like to show two sorties that tackle high value objectives right at the beginning of the match. In the first section I start with the Chicane from Dust Bowl and make my way to Port Maris. There you have to sink a shard and destroy the helipad. Then the radar truck of the Stratolands launchers and nearby air defenses must be destroyed. This should weaken the defenses of Maris Airport and also facilitate attacks on K92 highway strip. For the second sortie I tried something new, a flight with a Brawler, during which I destroyed two TBM positions and the enemy's enrichment plant. It turned out that the Brawler's 57mm cannon, due to its long range, is very suitable for knocking out C-ramps. In the meantime, the team that has gathered on my Discord server has made great strides in the cooperative gameplay of an escalation game on the side of BDF. On the last flight together we managed a very good run. There also seems to be some footage of various pilots, so we can look forward to a cool video. But now we turn our attention to the two missions on the side of Brawler. I started in the Chicane from Dust Bowl and made my way towards Port Maris. My loadout consists of 8 AGM-48s and 24 Kingpins, as well as 4 IRM S1s. On the flight I was able to use the terrain as cover so that the opponent had no chance to hit me. When approaching the Shard-class corvette, which was supposed to be still in the bay of Port Maris at the time, I attached great importance to flying as low as possible. This way I can avoid the enemy discovering me and getting close to the corvette. The idea is to take it under fire with Kingpins at the closest possible distance. After sinking the corvette, I turned my attention to the helipad. There is a manpad that I had to destroy. A tarantula wanted to take off, which prompted me to send a missile to meet it. Tutal did not miss the opportunity and took the ammunition truck under fire. The subsequent explosion also destroyed the nearby helipad. Very practical. Then I turned around and made my way to Maris Airport to attack the radar truck of the Stratolands launchers there. There is also an anvil, but its fire can be avoided by flying low. With the Chicane it is possible to get very close to the radar truck so that a single AGM-48 is enough to destroy it. Now I wanted to destroy as many more air defenses as possible, starting with the anvil. My position was so favorable that one AGM-48 was sufficient here as well. Destroying the bolt strike would be a great bonus. I struggled for a long time which targets I should attack and with how many missiles. I then decided to attack only the bolt strike with 3 AGM-48s and hoped that at least one would get through. Exactly one missile hit the bolt strike, but that was enough to destroy it. Now I was on the lookout for other targets and attacked them. However, I only managed to destroy one SAM unit before I had to go underground. As soon as optically guided missiles are in the air, I prefer to run away. So I made my way back to collect the successful sortie bonus. On my return flight, I was attacked by a vortex. I managed to escape its ARH and use flares against IRMs. After reaching the city, I tried to take the buildings as cover and take a shot at the vortex. The missile did not do enough damage, if it had any effect at all. I tried to get myself into a new attack position, but then I realized that the vortex seemed to be on its way home, which is why I decided to follow the example. I'm not sure if it was the vortex from the situation before. In any case, another one came at me. This time I was able to use the terrain as cover and detect it at a distance of 2 kilometers with an IRM S1. However, the final blow was given to it by Too Tall with a cannon. Now the way home was clear. But now I noticed a dark reach that was on its way to Dust Bowl. What I didn't quite realize yet was that a Medusa was also in the air and was aiming to escort the dark reach. My first S1 was therefore shot directly by the laser of the Medusa. I waited until the Medusa could no longer intercept another missile and tried again. While I was aligning myself with the Medusa, my S1 hit the dark reach which took it from the sky. No, it was finally time to go home. During my final landing approach, I noticed a tarantula heading for Dust Bowl. I still had a few kingpins left. I fired the first kingpin to unsettle the tarantula. It has to fly a slight evasive maneuver which definitely bothers it. The aero sentry at Dust Bowl then opened fire, which I rounded off with another kingpin. Now everything was pacified and I could land in peace. I wanted to try the second sortie in a Brawler. I started from Dust Bowl and wanted to fly north on the eastern coast to destroy the TBM launchers on the coast. Afterwards I should continue to the nearby second TBM position and finally to the enrichment plant. In contrast to the Chicane, the Brawler is much faster and still heavily armed. The 57mm cannon is very suitable for attacking C-ramps. In addition, AGM-48s to take the TBMs directly under fire and kingpins for air defense such as SAMs and anvils. The approach is quite uneventful. Sometimes the allied compass manage to destroy the opponent's defenses, but most of the time it don't. After revealing the enemy position, I flew a bow for a direct approach. I tried to take the C-ram under fire from 6 kilometers, where it feels as if the projectiles fly more or less into the right one of the target. One hit was enough and the C-ram was destroyed. What remained was the leads, which would otherwise intercept my missiles. My scatter shots on the C-ram have already destroyed some TBMs, so I only needed 3 AGM-48s to destroy the remaining TBMs. Then I turned northwest to discover the next C-ram. I took it under fire just like the previous one, although I had to correct the angle slightly. I simply ignored the manpads as much as possible, flew a large arc to get myself into firing position and opened fire on the TBMs. Unfortunately for me, the walls of the TBMs prevented one unit from being destroyed. I still had enough AGMs left so that I could fly another attack. But the missile also missed its target. Slightly frustrated, I tried a loop. And fired again. This time the missile hit and I was spared further enemy fire. The final target was the enrichment plant, which is defended by a Shard-class corvette, a SAM and an Anvil. I tried several times to hit the Shard with a 57mm cannon, but I don't think I scored a hit with it. The idea was to weaken the Shard with the cannon so that it would be easy to sink it with AGMs. After my third approach with a cannon, I had enough. I flew a bow and fired the remaining 6 AGM-48s at the shot. That was enough. Now the SAM and Anvil unit remained. I wanted to destroy them with kingpins and fired 3 at each target. However, the Anvil managed to shoot down all incoming shots. I was left with 2 kingpins, which I shot at the Anvil in one turn. These then hit the target. There was only one SAM unit a little further away, but I ignored it and continued the attack on the enrichment plant. As a bonus, I destroyed the helipad and the nearby trucks. The explosions never get old. On the way back, it was necessary to avoid a corvette in low flight, otherwise not much happened. I chose Sandrift as the runway because there were always small battles raging at Dust Bowl and I wanted to land in one piece. Perhaps the sorties were interesting for one or the other. In any case, I enjoy developing and flying sorties. The second sortie was heavily inspired by pilots on my Discord like Sherman and Mooney NL. They will also appear in my next video. Until then, I wish you a lot of fun flying yourself and don't forget, fly safe.